Now, I have a lot of time for this woman. I was working on Parliament Hill when she was a member of Parliament, but I don't know her. I think I probably met her once at a reception. I don't care if she's Indo-Canadian or Sikh or Hindu. I don't care what her race and religion is. I care that she's a Canadian who is running in the leadership race against a son of a bitch named Mark Carney, who thinks he has this thing sewn up, that he has this leadership race already in the bag, and he doesn't even have to try. So here's somebody who does think she has to try. And I take my hat off to her for that. Because she's espousing policies that are much more commonsensical than those that Mark Carney is proposing. Mark Carney wants a carbon tariff that's going to remove half the companies in this country. He's crazy. I think Ruby Dhalla has a much more credible policy.
Than anyone else who may not have my skin color. These allegations are baseless, and I will never allow anyone to use my ethnicity, my heritage, my culture, and misconstrue that for foreign interference. I am in this race to make history as the first woman of color in Canada to become our nation's Prime Minister. I have entered this leadership race to bring our party back to the centre, and most importantly, to stand up for Canadians and fight for Canada. I look forward to seeing all of you in Montreal on Monday and Tuesday.
Have you received official word yet from the Liberal Party on your disqualification from this race?
Now, this is what really kills me, is that she had to find out that she's been kicked out of the leadership race while she's on CBC. You know, and we talked about CBC yesterday. That's this wonderful organization that's now going to be in charge of disinformation vetting. $66 a person, baby. We're already paying $33 a person in Canada to keep this decrepit organization alive. And CBC had to inform Ruby Dhalla that she was no longer in the race. This is how corrupt things are.
I haven't as of yet. It's quite interesting that I turned on CBC News and read your headline that I was being disqualified from the race. I checked my email, my campaign team has, and as of this moment, we have not received any indication from the Liberal Party as to that type of decision, which to me is very alarming and very shocking that there are these types of leaks, from sources that are occurring.
We have just received a statement from the Liberal Party, Ms. Dhalla. I swear this just came into my email. It's a statement by Azam Ismail, who is the Liberal Party of Canada National Director, on Ruby Dhalla's candidacy for leader of the Liberal Party. Today, the Liberal Leadership Vote Committee unanimously made the decision to disqualify Ruby Dhalla. The decision followed an extensive process and review, including interviews, questionnaires, and an opportunity for Dr. Dhalla to directly address the committees. After a thorough investigation, the Leadership Vote Committee and the Leadership Expense Committee, sitting jointly, unanimously determined that Dr. Dhalla was in breach of 10 violations of the National Liberal Leadership Rules, Leadership Vote Rules, and the Leadership Expense Rules. The violations include concerns about alleged violations of the Canada Elections Act, certain other election finance matters, non-disclosure of material facts, and inaccurate financial reporting. The Leadership Vote Committee determined that the violations were extremely serious and accepted the recommendation of the Chief Electoral Officer and disqualified Dr. Dhalla under Section 8 of the National Leadership Rules. I'm assuming this is the first you are hearing this statement. What do you say that it was unanimous that there were 10 violations of those various rules?
Well, I think it speaks to the state of the Liberal Party of Canada that Canada candidate who is running to become leader of the party, who is running to become prime minister in our country, is finding out that she has been disqualified on air from an email that the media outlet that she is interviewing with has received. So it is very alarming and very shocking. It is certainly not surprising, because I think the Liberal Party of Canada was seeing exactly what our internal polls are telling us, that my campaign and my team, we were neck to neck with a front runner in the race. They did not want me to go on to that debate stage in Montreal. They certainly did not want me on that ballot. And the Liberal Party of Canada wanted to complete the coronation of Mark Carney. All of the allegations that you have mentioned have been, that you have spoken about, they are completely false. They are fabricated. And I will not allow the Liberal Party of Canada, or anyone for that matter, to smear my name or to smear the name of thousands of volunteers.
Ruby Dhalla,
fantastic. You know, nobody's ever going to call me a feminist or a proto-feminist or whatever the hell Justin Trudeau likes to call himself, even though as farcical as that is. But I have a lot of time and respect for women. And I have a lot of time and respect for women who get into politics for the right reasons. I just interviewed Danielle, the Premier of Alberta. And I think if you're in politics for the right reasons, you're in politics and you're going to be attacked by a lot of people for the wrong reasons. And I think it's important that we stand up for people who have the courage of their convictions. And I think Ruby Dhalla has the courage of her convictions. And I don't care what her race or religion is. I care the fact that she has enough concern for Canada, that she's taking on the Liberal Party right now. And I think that's just like Danielle Smith, the Premier of Alberta, is taking on the federal government and standing up for Alberta's provincial autonomy. I think the fact that Ruby Dhalla is taking on the Liberal Party of Canada is important.
we are hoping to have on the show, maybe tomorrow, is going to go into that debate on Monday and without the translation, and again on Tuesday, and she is going to attack the front runner pretty aggressively. Like, she brings a very interesting, based on what she's doing on social media, that is my impression. What kind of a dynamic does it
I certainly
create?
hope that the party finds a legitimate reason to disqualify her candidacy before the debate.
Really?
I hope so. I think that, we've got a serious campaign. Canadians are looking for a serious leader. I think that's one of the reasons that Carney is doing very well. I would really hate for us to lose, as a partisan, to lose that momentum because someone's trying to turn the debates into a circus.
F you. So you don't want her there because she's not serious like Mark Carney. Mark Carney's not serious. Mark Carney is Chauncey.
You know, Chauncey, there's something about you. You don't play games with words to protect yourself.
Had no brains at all. The stuff with rice pudding between the ears.
He's very, very sexy. But I think he's brilliant.
I raised that boy.
It's always somewhat surprising to find men like yourself working so intimately with the president and yet somehow managing to remain relatively unknown.
Yes, it is surprising.
And look at him now.
I can't write.
Oh, I heard he speaks 8 languages.
I can't read. I like to watch TV. I understand.
How much steel are you using these days, Todd?
Gardiner. Mark Carney hasn't got a thought in his head that he doesn't have to read from the teleprompter. How goddamn ridiculous is this coming from this woman who suggests we don't need any debate, we don't need any discourse, we don't need any argument, we don't need any other ideas in the Liberal Party leadership race except mine. This is outrageous.
That's a tough thing to do. I mean, they've already disqualified Chandra Arya, right?
Exactly. So is there a race thing here? I'm sorry. Am I missing something?